Good day, my internet brethren. It's been a while since I posted a video about the knives I've been building. Uh, so I figured I'd give you a little update because I'm continuing to do so. I'm getting a little more experimental with my knives and just want to get some feedback, sort of see what you guys think. Maybe if you like them or like the ideas I'm doing in here, you can get some feedback. Let me know. Anyways, I'll first start with bringing a couple older ones back. I already showed this knife on the previous uh, custom knives video, a 140 millimeter. Anyways, I'm sort of experimenting with different ways to make sheaths. So I made this out of some spare pallet wood. I think it was pallet wood I had. Stained it. So I shaped the blade out inside. As you can see that there is 3 magnets inset, little circle rare earth magnets inset into this sheath. So when you put it in, the magnets lock it in, and that ain't going anywhere. And then I put little D-rings on it, so you can clip it and carry it on your around your neck or on a like a oh my goodness, a string or something. Carry over your shoulder. Because this is a bigger knife. I find belt carrying the bigger 140s a little jabby in the hip if you don't, unless you do a dangler. So yeah, I really like how that turned out. I'm not 100% sure how easy it is on the blade. I was pretty gentle, like not gentle, but I really soften the inside, but there is a lot of friction because it is kind of a friction holder, and then the magnets do want to suck it into place. I notice that it is dragging on the blade a little bit. For these kinds of blades, the unfinished ones, it's not a big deal because this oxide here kind of almost lubricates the inside of this sheath and wears it in. And but I tried it with this one, and it ended up the BPS, and I'm scratching the blade. We'll get to that one after. But yeah, let me know what you think. It's sealed just with CA glue because I want it to be kind of hard. Is this a worthy kind of sheath style? Would you carry something like this? And then I also showed this one before, and I did a sort of similar one with this. Just little hole, pop it in, lock it in, and the angles line up pretty easily. I think these woods complement each other very well. And because it's like a smaller carving blade, this is something you just throw in your pack. Sorry, little beeswax fluff on there from the buffing cloth. Yeah, it doesn't need, like, I could put like a little D-ring through the end there because there is a decent amount. You could always drill a hole and then have it as a neck carry because that, again, ain't going anywhere. And then you just push off the back to get it. That's why I left that little lip there to kind of give you grip to push it off. My thumb's still a little sensitive, especially since I've been going back to building and putting a lot of effort, like using it a lot. Peening with a thumb that was broken. That all that vibration, the peening is not the best for a recovering thumb. Still 6 months after I broke it, it's still annoying the crap out of me. Anyways, moving on. I did this one's fun. I wanted to try my hand at making some scales for a folder. So this is just a cheap buck from Canadian Tire, 420 HC. I think it's the Buck Matrix, it's called. Good little knife. I mean, you get them on sale for 15 bucks, 15 Canadian bucks. The regular price is 50, which is ridiculous, but they go on like 75% off at Canadian Tire a lot. So yeah, that's some God, some sort of figured maple, I think. I don't know, it was just a small piece of wood I had out in the shed. Thin enough where I can make some scales out of it without having to cut the thinness myself. Sealed with tung oil, and I mean, it's not perfect, but not bad for my first attempt at wooden scales. I wanted to one of my Spydercos, but they have inset scales. That's a total different beast. These are just like sandwich style, so I just gotta basically trace out the scale. And as long as I get the screw holes in the right spot, it should go together fairly well. But those inset scales require some pretty savvy routing of very tight tolerances. So I'm still not sure what I'm gonna do for that, but I'm determined to put a set of wood scales on my PM2. They do make them. I know I could buy them, but I want to do them myself. But yeah, little buck folder first try at folder scales. Let's do these. These are just some kitchen knives I've been working on. When I do sell knives to people, they always ask me if I have kitchen knives available. I find kitchen knife blanks are a little harder to get than regular knife blanks, like outdoorsy knife blanks. Those are everywhere online. Kitchen knives, you have to like buy a whole knife and then take the handle off. So that's what I did. These are just some knives I got from the local Value Village. I think I spent $2 or $3 on the knives, and ripped the shitty handles they had off of them and made my own. Stainless, of course. Mystery stainless, probably that like X50 CR something, CR13 that's on most budget kitchen knives. It's not a bad steel, probably 55, 54 HRC. A little soft, good for kitchen use. I do really like that blade style. I kind of went flat around the back. I got a new belt sander with like proper angle guides and everything, so I've been messing around with that to try and get some more geometry as opposed to just overly rounded. But yeah, I really like the way this one turned out. It's very comfortable in the hand and has lots of room for your fingers to go, but still good clearance for the cutting board. Let me know what you guys think. Another kitchen one. This is Japanese stainless steel, a little thicker. This blade is actually probably a better steel than this. It actually had some rust underneath the handles, so it's got some carbon in it, so you know it's not awful steel. It was from a professional line of like those restaurant kitchen knives, like they have those like generic plastic handles, meant for like restaurant, like the restaurant services that go drop off knives to to people, and they when I worked in Toronto, they wouldn't sharpen their own knives. Like they had this company that would come and they would just drop off sharpened knives, take the old knives back, and then like it was this cycle. So every week they would just drop off new knives, take the old knives back, sharpen them. So I guess if you have a kitchen staff that doesn't know how to maintain their tools, that's good. But yeah, the steel's not bad in this. This is actually a pretty decent steel. Probably the same type of steel, like I don't know, because it's Japanese. I don't know if they use that X50. That's usually the Chinese ones. Anyways, it's a Japanese stainless steel. Decent. The tip was bent on it, so it was a traditional style tip like this one. The tip was just way bent over, so I made it kind of like a sentoku style, because it was so bent. Like you're not bending that one back over. It would just crack the steel right off if I tried to straighten it. So it was like a good 45-degree bend, maybe even more. Somebody had dropped it, I guess. Just it's toast, so donate it. Paid like $2 for the knife, and yeah, put my own handle on it. This one's a little more bulbousy. It's got that figured olive wood again, and then I don't know what that bolster is. Something nice. I really like that. And sealed with 2 coats of tung oil. This one is a single coat, so you can kind of see a single coat of tung oil still allows for it to be somewhat water resistant, and then 2 or just maybe even 3 coats of tung oil. It gives it a little more of a glassy look, and then you can get up into like something like this. This is 5 coats of tung oil, and this is figured babinga wood with a brass bolster and end cap on an 80 millimeter 80 CRV2 blade. With the ricasso. This one turned out real nice, but I'm still not sure if I like this glassy feel to it. It makes it super water resistant, but I don't know if it doesn't get that slippery even when it's wet. That tung oil is a weird thing. I don't know if it's the brand I got, but it almost seems like it's like tung oil mixed with varnish or something, or because it definitely, when you build up layers like that, it gets pretty almost like urethane-y. Like I spray urethane, which is not ideal for what I like my handles to finish, but I mean, that'll make the wood last a lot longer, especially with a softer wood like this. Like, the thing is not that hard. It's nice to have that extra protection. Moving around, I'm just kind of jumping all over the place. Let's do this. This is a custom BPS with a Cocobolo handle. This is some really nice hard wood. I kind of find it looks kind of like a spotted cow or something. This is the HK4 blank they have. I need to take these screws out and polish them up to all silver or all steel, because I nicked the top of the screws with the belt sander when I was shaping the outside, and it definitely, I don't like the look of it. I ended up like taking the screws out and deepening the holes a little bit after I did that, but it was too late and they got nicked. So now they look like they're steel on top and then black underneath. Just looks a little amateurish. I'm going to take those out and polish them up, make them very bright. But I really love this blade itself. I did make a sheath similar to this one for it. Oh, the magnet. It's sticking with the magnet. But because these knives are so high polished, it was scratching the blade up. I don't know if you can see all of the scratches. I do not like that. Only on, on both sides. So I don't know if maybe I got some grit in the sheath when I was forming it. Maybe some grit off the belt, but it just scratched the crap out of the blade after like, I don't know, 10 inserts and pullouts, and I didn't like that. So I'm gonna have to polish this blade back up if I do want to sell it. But yeah, this is such a good shape for a blade. BPS originally sent me the wrong blade. I got this when I got the last BPS knives, the marking blades. I ordered a blank and they ended up sending me the wrong blank. They sent me the rat tail, and then I contacted them. They just sent me this one free of charge. So they're a great company. If they mess up your order, they won't even ask you to send the other blades back. They'll just replace them. Yeah. This is still one of my favorite shapes of BPS knives. The slight recurve and the nice big belly there makes it an ideal game processing knife. You can open a belly really nicely without poking. Let's put that back there. Oh, this one's nice. This is a bloodwood. I do believe a bloodwood handle with brass bolsters. I still need to polish this brass up after I put the tung oil coating on it. And that's one thing when you're dealing with finishes like this, because this was like a pretty naturally oily wood. I had some really big issues with actually getting the tung oil to go inside, like to absorb properly into certain areas of this wood. Certain parts of it, it just sucked right in, like the end grains, but other parts, it just wouldn't. It wouldn't go into the wood. So this is, believe it or not, like 6 coats of tung oil, and it didn't even build up much of a glassy finish, which I like the overall finish. I sanded this one down because there were certain spots that were really glossy and certain spots that were kind of almost matte finished, depending on where the oil was absorbing and curing. So yeah, I put 6 coats on and then just did a full sand down up to, I think, 600 grit. Not crazy because I didn't want to polish it up. I wanted to have a slightly hazy finish. But this is a Mora 2000 blade. Unfortunately, not peened through because the Mora 2000s, their tangs are really short compared to most Mora tangs. I think they go right there, but they are substantially thicker and they have a lot more of that like grooving to them to really lock it in, and it's just epoxied in with some high quality epoxy. But yeah, again, it's not going anywhere. I do love the shape of this knife. That very fine tip ends up being pretty proficient at slicing food and stuff. And then you still get the nice scandy grind back here to allow for some more strength for wood processing if you do need to. I wouldn't baton with these though. The stainless steel that Mora uses holds a good edge, but it does not like to be stress. Like it's the toughness is not there for that 12C27. I've had tips break off of Mora knives before in that stainless steel. It's unfortunate because their carbon's so good, but yeah, that's just a problem with stainless steel in general. I don't mind patinas, but a lot of customers have been asking for me to carry more stainless steel blades. So this is one that I picked up. I think it was about 40, 30 bucks, 35 bucks Canadian, shipped to my house for the blank. They're a little expensive, almost twice as expensive as just their basic carbon blanks, but I do like that compound grind. It makes it look badass. Very straight bottom, kind of Coke bottle shape to the profile. Nice hump, so it kind of fits in the back of your hand very well. Overall, one of my more preferred handle shapes. As you can see, you'll see a lot of my knives have that very like straight to the bottom, and then more of a bulbousy back end that kind of fits into the round of your hand right here. This one's nice too. This is a little 54 millimeter carving blade, brass bolster. I do believe that's some sort of bird's eye, maybe maple. I don't know. I really liked the figure in the wood, so that's why I chose it. 1 coat of tung oil, or no, 2 coats of tung oil on this. Tang probably goes to right about there. That's the one thing about these little Laurin carving blanks, because the blade is so short, the tangs are not going to be very much longer. So if you want a usable handle out of it, you're not going to be able to peen through these things. They're going to have to be glued inset. But again, yeah, it's a carving knife. You're not going to be hacking away at this thing. So as long as you use an appropriate glue and have an appropriate sized hole and fill the hole fully, this is not going anywhere. Like, I always notch my tangs too with either a Dremel or a little grinder. I'll just go along and tink, 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 tink if I'm not peening them through, just so the glue has something to grab onto. You can use a file for that too. Just give the tang something, some sort of texture to grab the glue onto, and that'll help extend the length of the grip. Let's do this one. This is I think a Mora. Yeah, this is a number 1 blank. I have number 1s and number 2s. They look almost identical, but they're a little shorter. So I think this is the number 1. This was, let's count them up here, because this is, I got most of this wood was bought off of a guitar maker in just outside of Toronto, I think Newmarket, and he sold me a lot of his end cuts, like a ridiculous amount of end cuts, for a ridiculously cheap price. I had to drive 3 hours to get it, but these were headstock cutoffs. So like when he cuts the headstock, he makes the neck and the headstock. There's always these weird angled cuts, and there's quite a few of them. So there's wood going this way, and then, like, so there's just a bunch of wedges, and then they're also, because he does like layered this way next, and then he cuts them off this way. So there's layers going this way. I don't know if you can kind of see, but all the angles are pretty consistent between them, so you can just kind of like stack them up together and make usable chunks of wood out of them. So that's what I did. I stacked up a bunch of the headstock cutoff layers, and then glued them all together. Geez, they turned out real nice. Kind of a pain in the ass to glue together some of those angle pieces, and some of them aren't perfectly shaped, so you do have like some like thicker glue lines, thinner glue lines, depending on just how tightly they fit together. But there is some really pretty figure in that wood, and I love the fact that I can use those chunks that would usually be thrown out and combine them into something usable. Copper top and bottom, bolster and end cap. These are old pipes I had. They did some remodeling in my house. Not remodeling, but they changed some pipes, and all the copper pipes were left over. So I just I chop them to bits and then flatten them out, and they turn out to be pretty nice little pieces of material for my knife making. Glad I didn't throw them out. Sorry, I'm just kind of ranting here through them. This one is another Laurin blank. This piece of wood, I'm so glad I ended up using. It had a big, that's probably why the guy cut it off. It had a big fracture through this, through the whole piece, probably to about this depth right here. And it was cut off. Oh, look at that. Look at that chatoyancy in some of the, Jesus. It just like glistens at certain angles. I'm so glad I ended up using it. But yeah, there was a big crack, so I guess he just cut it off because he didn't want a crack in his guitar. But I saw this, and it was like the perfect size for a knife handle, so I took some very, very thin super glue and just slowly filled the cracks. I mean, I probably could have clamped it and closed the cracks, but I wanted the cracks to tell a story. So I filled the cracks with CA glue, and then just it would soak in, fill it up, soak in, fill it up, soak in, and eventually it wouldn't take any more glue. I have that like super thin stuff, and yeah, it turned to like this plasticky crack in the wood. It's wonderful. This is a Laurin partial heat treatment. I don't know if you can sort of see. Let's see if you get a certain. Sorry, I can't really see in the camera. There is a line somewhere around here. When kids are going crazy as a friend over. Sorry about the banging. Yeah, there's a line in here from when they do the differential heat treatment, but the core of this is, I think, 63 to 64 HRC. The blank was about twice as expensive as the traditional heat treated blanks, but it holds an edge very well, similar to that Rossellini ultra high carbon stuff. I think I'm going to keep this one. I don't usually plan to keep any of the blades I make. Like if somebody makes me an offer on them, they're all for sale. But this one, just something about it. It fits my hand perfectly. And maybe because it has that differential heat treat, I appreciate it more. I don't know, but yeah, peeing through, that was a son of a bitch to pee in. That's what made my hand so sore. What else do we talk about? This one, 120 mil copper bolster, a bunch of weird woods. This is black palm. My wife says it looks like something like one of those divorcee housewives would carry, who wears leopard print. I guess because it kind of looks like a leopard print. The middle woods here, like this is a different. Like these two are the same. This is a different kind, and then this is a different kind, and different kind. I can't really remember the kinds of wood in here, but I went for more of like a sword style handle, nice finger guard, so you can do the stabby if you need to, and solidly in there. The butt is very dainty, but it fits good. And I finally got to mess with this black palm. It's a very odd wood because the darker fibers in it. Focus, you fuck. Yeah, those don't absorb any finish, but the gaps in between do. And yeah, it's almost like it hurts to get a splinter with this stuff too. Oh my goodness, it because of like these really hard black spots can like break off and shatter. It's kind of like a wenge or a nightmare to work with because it's just so splintery until you get a nice finish on it. Talked about that one. That one. Okay, I talked about almost all of them except for the two last ones I built, which is this one and this one. They're something a little special. So I recently watched a video, Big Clive. He does electronic teardowns and just odds and ends and talks about things, and sometimes he does whiskey reviews. But he had this one on glow in the dark powder, and I messaged him saying I would love to incorporate it in my handle. So he suggested this stuff, strontium alumnite or something like that. It's not like the iron oxide. It's much more glowy and holds the glow for a long time. It's very cool. So I started with this one. This one's not quite done yet, as you can see. I still have super glue marks on it because I glued the back pommel on all the way through, and I'm experimenting with this is threaded, so I threaded that on, and when I threaded I also glued it at the same time. But yeah, so it's just the basic shade is going to be thinned out a little bit, but a little UV light here. So this will when properly charged, glow for like 4 or 5 hours, no problem, especially in the dark. Let's see if I just flick this light off really quickly. If we can. Yeah. It looks wonderful. So I'm going to start incorporating pieces of that into my knives. Like either like drill some holes. I also did this one, which is this is wenge, and then a copper bottom and top. I do believe this is the number 2 blank or number 1. I don't know. But I made it and then drilled a whole bunch of tiny holes of 3 different size drill bits all over the thing. And then this was really annoying. Mixing 15-minute epoxy with some of this strontium aluminate and then figuring out how to get it in the holes. I originally was going to syringe it, but it kept clogging the syringe. So I just basically took the finest drill bit I had and was coating the ends of the drill bit in the epoxy, and powder mixed together and like twisting them in the holes, and it would like force and like allow the air to escape at the same time. Some of them did get little bubbles in them. It's not perfect, but kind of a proof of concept here. Let's charge these up and sort of show you what it looks like with the light off. So yeah, you get like this kind of starry sky effect, and trust me, it stays, these little dots stay lit for quite a while. And I have different amounts of the glow in the dark powder in there to kind of make little darker ones, little brighter ones, simulate a night sky. Like I wanted to go for like a dark night sky with some bright stars, some darker stars, and I think it turned out pretty darn good for a proof of concept. So I'm going to be experimenting with that too. I might end up doing little etchings in some of the knives and adding the here, let me focus again because this thing won't stay in focus. Sorry if the video's been out of focus for a while. I've been not looking through the camera, especially with the light off. Anyways, it worked out pretty good. My wife said it looks like a knife somebody in Avatar would carry, like a Pandoran knife. But yes, if you're looking for this kind of powder, it can be found on Amazon pretty easily. You don't need a lot of it to make it glow. I think this is 45 Canadian dollars for this, and this is a lot of the powder. This will last me quite a while. A 5-to-1 ratio to get a good glow. So yeah, let me know what you think of the new knives, guys. Sorry about my kids stomping around upstairs. That's just a side effect of having 3 children, and they invite friends over. So there's probably 4 or 5 kids up there right now. Thumbs up. That's why I'm downstairs, avoiding them all. Yeah, half an hour. Limited my video to half an hour. Comment below. Let me know what you think of the new kind of idea with the glowy knives. Certainly help you find them at night. If you drop your knife in the dark and you have any sort of flashlight, UV lights make them glow very fast, but if you just flash your flashlight around, it would charge up that enough to be able to see it really quickly. So that's my basic idea with incorporating that in. Anyways,